For some reason, I woke up during the night. I lay still, listening for the sound of my father's breathing in the bunk above mine. I could hear nothing. He wasn't there. This meant that he'd gone back to the workshop to finish a job. I listened for the usual workshop sounds, the little clinking noises of metal against metal or the tap of a hammer. But on this night, no sound came from the workshop. The filling station was silent. I got out of my bunk and found a box of matches by the sink. I struck one and held it up to the funny old clock that hung on the wall above the kettle. It said 11:10. I went to the door of the caravan. "Dad," I said softly. "Dad, are you there?" No answer. In pyjamas and bare feet, I went down the caravan steps and crossed over to the workshop. I switched on the light. The old car we'd been working on through the day was still there, but not my father. I've already told you he did not have a car of his own, so there was no question of his having gone for a drive. So I thought he must have fainted suddenly from some awful illness or fallen down and banged his head. I would need a light if I was going to find him. I took the torch from the bench in the workshop. I looked in the office. I went around and searched behind the office and behind the workshop. I ran down the field to the lavatory. It was empty. I ran back to the caravan. He definitely wasn't in his bunk. I stood in the dark caravan, and for the first time in my life I felt a touch of panic. The filling station was a long way from the nearest farmhouse. I took the blanket from my bunk and put it round my shoulders. Then I went out the caravan door and sat on the platform with my feet on the top step of the ladder. The silence was deathly. I don't know how long I sat there. It may have been 1 hour, it could have been 2. But I never dozed off. And at last, from far away, I heard the faint tap-tap of footsteps on the road. The footsteps were coming closer. Tap, 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 tap. Was it him? Or was it somebody else? Tap, 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 tap. Then, out of the mist, a figure appeared. It was him. I jumped down the steps and ran onto the road to meet him. "Danny, what on earth's the matter? I thought something awful had happened to you." He took my hand in his and walked me back to the caravan in silence. Then he tucked me into my bunk. "I'm so sorry," he said. "I should never have done it. But you don't usually wake up, do you?" "Where did you go, Dad?" "You must be tired out." "I'm not a bit tired. Could we light the lamp for a little while?" My father put a match to the wick of the lamp hanging from the ceiling, and the little yellow flame sprang up and filled the inside of the caravan with pale light. "How about a hot drink?" he said. "Yes, please." He lit the paraffin burner and put the kettle on to boil. "I have decided something," he said. "I am going to let you in on the deepest, darkest secret of my whole life." I was sitting up in the bunk, watching my father. "You asked me where I'd been. The truth is, I was up in Hazel's Wood." "Hazel's Wood?" I cried. "That's miles away." 6 miles and a half. I know I shouldn't have gone, and I'm very, very sorry about it." His voice trailed away into nothingness. "But why would you want to go all the way up to Hazel's Wood?" He spooned cocoa powder and sugar into 2 mugs. "Do you know what is meant by poaching?" "Poaching? Not really, no." "It means going up into the woods in the dead of night and coming back with something for the pot. Poachers in other places poach all sorts of different things, but around here it's always pheasants." "You mean stealing them?" I said, aghast. "We don't look at it that way. A great poacher is a great artist." "Is that actually what you were doing in Hazel's Wood, Dad? Poaching pheasants?" "I was practicing the art of poaching." I was shocked. My own father a thief. "The kettle's boiling," I said. "Ah, so it is." He poured the water into the mugs and brought mine over to me. Then he fetched his own and sat with it at the end of my bunk.